I know that there's emphasis on the Black Mass, say.
Yeah.
And so as a Satanist, did you have any opinions about the Catholic Church, per se?
I hated the interesting. My grandparents were very anti-Catholic. I hated the Catholic Church before I was a Satanist. That didn't change.
What did you hate about Catholicism?
Can I tell the whole story? Because I don't want to say this and then stop halfway, because it's a beautiful story. When I was my grandfather, who was my middle name is Warren. His name was Warren. He's the best friend I ever had, ever will have. And he was the deputy fire chief in our city, and he loved to tell this story where when the city got its first Italian mayor, and he didn't like him. He's a master mason. My grandfather was a master mason. He was all. And he said one day the fire department was having problems, and my grandfather blamed the Irish and stuff. And so the mayor called him in to his office and said, he said, "Deputy, what's wrong with the department?" He said, "Do you want to know what the problem with the department is, Mayor?" He said, "Yeah, I do." And he said, I slammed my hands on his desk. He said, "There's 2 GD many Roman Catholics." And so I had this
prejudice.
But I have to tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, please.
Years later, after I become Catholic, my grandfather was dying, and he was living with us. He had congestive heart failure. And I used to catch him watching EWTN in the middle of the night. He couldn't sleep. He was so afraid of death. He couldn't sleep, ever. And he'd nod off in his chair for a couple of hours a night. But I'd catch him watching the Mass on EWTN. And then one day he said to me, "Mike, I want to go to confession." I said, "Why do you want to go to confession?" He said, "I just feel like it's something I have to do." I said, "I can call my priest." He said, "Would you?" I said, "Yeah, of course."
So you're Catholic at this point?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. And so I brought him to one of my priests at the time, Father Raymond Vander Mortel, the Archdiocese of Boston. And I dropped him off. He couldn't drive. He could barely walk. And they were there for an hour just talking. They weren't in the confessional. They were talking in a private room. He couldn't go into a confessional. But they were there for about an hour. And then my grandfather came out, tears. And I helped him into the car. I said, "Was it good?" And he said, "I want to start coming to Mass with you." And that was on a Wednesday. And then Saturday, he went into renal failure, slipped into a coma, and died. And it was cool.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And EWTN.
Oh, Mother Angelica, we love you. Pray for us.
Yeah. I know of at least one convert, that she's helped to win from.
Did he watch her as well, or just the Mass?
He was always watching EWTN.
He must have come across her.
Yeah. She was the kind of person he would have liked.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was amazing. Yeah. And I was worried about him because he wasn't just not Catholic. He didn't like the Catholic Church. He was a master mason. I remember when he was first checked into the hospital, they said, name. He gave his name, birthday, religion. He said, "I'm a Freemason." I called him Pal. I said, "Pal, you're not supposed to say that." He said, "What?" I said, "You're not supposed to say it's a religion." He says, "But it is." I said, "I know that." I said, "But you're not supposed to tell people." He said, "Oh, well, I'm dying, so what do I have to lose?" So, yeah, it was, yeah, I couldn't be more grateful just for that assurance.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.